We have coverage of a powerful symposium at this year's Hispanic Leadership Summit at Rowan University with the important message of faith and business, a timely message given the importance of Latinos' purchasing power and adherence to religion and faith. Join us here on Latino Motion.
Choose quality, value, distinction. Choose Stockton.
Latino Motion with Bert Lopez is presented by Latino Motion Public Affairs Media, a New Jersey nonprofit corporation, and Stockton University. This edition of Latino Motion with Bert Lopez is brought to you by the HD Studios at the campus of Stockton University. Funding for Latino Motion is provided by Atlanticare, healthcare you can believe in. Atlantic City Electric, energy for a changing world. And South Jersey Gas. Welcome to Latino Motion, a weekly interview show highlighting issues impacting New Jersey's Latino community while advancing understanding of Latino cultural heritage and contributions to our society. And here is your host, Bert Lopez.
Buenos dias and welcome to Latino Motion. I had the privilege to participate in this year's Hispanic Leadership Summit on October the 24th at Rowan University. Today we will revisit a segment from the summit. It is the Symposium on Faith and Business. Let's take a look.
My name is Jonathan Diego. I'm second vice president of the Hispanic Leadership Association, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of you for being here this morning.
First, just to give you a little bit of perspective of where we as Latinos sit here in the state of New Jersey, we know that the population, I know Angel told me that these numbers are wrong, but these were, they're properly dated numbers, and obviously Latino communities usually undercounted and underrepresented. So don't hold me to these numbers, but these are the numbers. The population is nearly 1.6 million in the state of New Jersey, which represents roughly about 20% of the population here in New Jersey. The mid-age is 30, so I'm kind of way out there. But I see the rest of the audience here looks pretty young, so you're probably in that mid-range. The percentage of all pre-K to 12th graders is 22%, significant amount of Latinos in our school systems, and I know Gladys and others that are in education see the growth of Latinos in school systems. Median age is, median income is still significantly lower than the rest of the state. It's about $24,000. The poverty rate for the youth is still significant. About 27% of our youth are at the poverty rate. And many of us do not have the health coverage that we need. Only about, there's 29% without health insurance. And the home ownership has gotten better, but we could do better. It's 37% currently. So just to give you a little more of a perspective in terms of the power that we as Latinos have and the context for what we're going to discuss today, is that the U.S. purchasing power is reaching 1.5 to 1.7 trillion. Significant numbers. In New Jersey alone, that purchasing power is about 46 billion. It's a significant growth, over 400% growth since 1990, and about 70,000 Latino-owned businesses in the state. That data is from 2007, contributing to about 10 billion in terms of sales and employing close to 50,000 folks here in the state. So as far as religion, Latinos are really changing religion in the U.S. About 1/3 of all Catholics in the United States are Latinos. Even though we see decreasing enrollment and membership in many denominations, including the Catholic Church, we see more Latinos holding on to their faith in Pentecostal churches, evangelical churches. In the U.S., about over 8 million Latinos consider themselves to be evangelical, and 1/3 of the 52 million Latinos here in the U.S. call themselves born again. So religion plays a big part in our culture. And This gentleman put it best. His name is Don Daniel Ortiz. He wrote a book. I had him on my show last week. Wish I could have had him here today, but unfortunately he wasn't able to make it. But he wrote a book, and basically he says that one of the things that we as Latinos hold dearly are faith, family, and frijoles. But frijoles is just a catch-all phrase for culture, right? We all eat frijoles one form or the other, whether it's fried beans or ajo con gandules, we all eat frijoles. So we hold our culture dearly along with family and faith. Those are important factors. So with that background, I want to introduce our very first speaker. It is the Reverend Luis Cortez. He is the founder and for over 30 years has operated and run Esperanza Incorporated. He is an ordained minister. He has a MS in Divinity and Economics. He has 3 honorary doctorate degrees, and he is certainly nationally known, has a very major breakfast, and I had spoke about it this morning, where he gets all of the pastors from throughout the nation to come out, and even has the President Obama attend the breakfast. So let's hear from Reverend Luis Cortez.
Esperanza is driven by a biblical mandate to serve and advocate for the least of these, to strengthen Latino communities. We do that mostly in Philadelphia, but we have done it around the country. We maintain 3 core values as a company: faith, integrity, and excellence. We have the Esperanza Academy Charter School. We have 1,600 young people in school from the grades 6 through 12. These 1,600 kids are all minority children. 94% of them are Latino, 6% of them are African American. They're all in North Philadelphia. We have a graduation rate of 93%, outperforming the school district of Philadelphia. Outperforming the school district of Philadelphia by 38% and the state of Pennsylvania by 10. But what I'm most proud of is that 8 out of 10 of our graduates go to college. 8 out of 10 of our graduates go to college. We have Esperanza College, which is a branch campus of Eastern University. Once again, it happens to be a 100% minority population. 80% of that group is Latino and 20% is African American. Our retention rate is 60%, which is 20% higher than other two-year institutions in the regions. We have a school called AMLA. It serves 125 students. It's a music school. They teach Latino percussion, el cuatro, guitar, brass, piano, sound engineering, and music theory. And we are the least expensive music school by 63% in the city of Philadelphia. We do community development in a neighborhood known as Hunting Park. We've put in over $47 million of investment. We just sold the Rite Aid. We had this big Rite Aid. We just sold it. But we also are working with 200 businesses, 7 businesses that we do not own, we've helped renovate. These are Latino-owned businesses. We don't own them. We help them renovate their businesses by getting the Department of Commerce of the City of Philadelphia to work with us. We've created 60 jobs on the 5th Street corridor, and we've provided $250,000 in grants to neighbors in the community that want to do different things, like put flower pots outside, paint an abandoned building, fix an abandoned building. So we do that as well. We have a workforce development program. Then we have some national programs. Our national programs work with over 13,000 Latino ministers across the United States and 500 faith-based nonprofits. To these groups, we've done over $12 million in sub-grants, training for housing counseling, mentoring, at-risk youth, gangs, healthy marriage, teen pregnancy, and HIV/AIDS prevention. We do the National Hispanic Prayer Breakfast, where we've had Vice President Joe Biden, President Barack Obama, President George Bush, Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton. They've all been speakers. And what we do is we take a large group of Latino clergy, We go to Washington, D.C. They also get to visit their congressional leaders.
Latino Motion with Bert Lopez is presented by Latino Motion Public Affairs Media, a New Jersey nonprofit corporation. Join us online at www.latinomotion.tv. Find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We encourage your comments and contributions for show topics.
Welcome back to Latino Motion. We're going to continue our coverage of the Business and Faith Symposium at Rowan University as part of the Hispanic Leadership Summit. Let's continue to listen in.
In community investment, we now own a 10-acre site. We have our campus. We have invested. We went to Wall Street, for example, and we got a $32 million bond, which allows us to build a theater and a gymnasium for our schools as well as our middle school. We currently have 340 employees. All you young folks who are here, when you're graduating from college, check our website. Send me your resumes. We hire 340 people. It is our goal as a corporation, we should hit 500 in the next 4 years. $30 million annual budget is our budget. We have a $45 million asset base. All of this started in 1986 with one person, one employee. I was it. Which means all of you can do it too, because I'm not that special. We all have the gift that God gives us to be able to develop and create economic opportunities for our people, for our communities, and for everybody who lives around us.
So I did want to introduce our next speaker, which is Angela Pipersberg. She is the CEO of the Kingdom Chamber of Commerce. She is an international speaker. As I mentioned, she's the founder of this organization, and she has operated for 11 years. I know I got an opportunity to attend one of her meetings. She has a bachelor's in business as well as has 2 years of law school. She is someone that has really been involved in corporate America. She started her own public affairs firm and then obviously has been actively involved in this organization, which now has 5 chapters in DC, Philadelphia, and New Jersey. Let's welcome Angela Pipersberg.
Thank you so much, Bert. Good morning, everyone. Buenos dias. I love what we talked about, the faith family and the frijoles. A mí me gusta frijoles. I mean, tortillas y frijoles. I mean, yo hablo español también, just so you know that. So I feel right at home. I'm so thankful and just excited. But I'll tell you more so why, because I see the incorporation of the next generation. You cannot be an effective leader without bringing the next generation alongside us, because you know we're only here in a time span. And so that for me means everything. So if you're a young person, tap yourself on the shoulder and say, my future looks bright. Who's in the room with you? Look at the person next to you. You could be looking at the next senator. You could be looking at the next president of the United States of America. You see what I'm saying? So you can never take an individual for granted. We're all God's children. He created us here and placed us on planet Earth for a reason. And so you need to understand that you were not born to just come here to pay bills. You understand what I'm saying? Now, paying bills is important, don't get me wrong, but you are here to fulfill an assignment. When God sent you here, there was a fight that took place even before you got here. And you won. And so as a result of that, you need to understand that the sky is the limit. A little bit about the Kingdom Chamber of Commerce. Our vision is to bring believers together to advance the kingdom of God through their businesses for the Lord Jesus Christ. And so you may want to say, well, my business and Jesus, yes. Why is that? Well, the reason is that you should not compartmentalize your life. How could you separate your faith from your business? You know, one thing I love about our community, which I say our because I feel like I'm a part of it, I know I'm a part of it, is that you can't leave Jesus outside of your workplace. You can't leave him outside of your school. You can't leave him outside of your business and pick him back up. Why? Because you are called to live an integrated life where you truly are who you are. The point of distinction for the Kingdom Chamber of Commerce is that we integrate our business with our faith. And so we look for like-minded individuals that are in that place where they're looking for economic development. How can I make my community better? How can I make others better? So we're a community of like-minded individuals who are committed to growing our business with biblical principles. And we're not ashamed of that. And so we pray and we ask God for directions. Why? Because he's the greatest businessman that has ever lived. So young people, you have ideas, you have dreams in your heart. And I'm just here to encourage you today to not let those dreams die. Don't look at your circumstances. Don't look at where you come from, but rather look at the fact that there's potential on the inside of you and that nothing is impossible. So as members or partners of the Kingdom Chamber of Commerce, we're able to create employment opportunities. And it's very important that we understand that what you make happen for others, God will make happen for you. So you're not just in business just to take care of you and your family, but rather you're in business to be able to create an opportunity for someone else. So we create opportunities to enhance our businesses, our employees, and our communities. And their skills, you got to be skillful. We just got out of our Kingdom Business Conference and Marketplace Expo on Thursday, but I would not be here with you for my friend Angel and my friend Bert. We had a young man all the way from Santo Domingo who came to speak to our youth. And it was just so amazing to see all these businesses that came together under the umbrella of how can I develop a business that is profitable? You know, not that you have an organization that's just barely making it, but now that you have companies in your business that is successful and you're developing corporate mastery. What is mastery, Angela? Where it becomes unconscious what you do, but you're so good at what you do and you constantly are looking to make it better. So what am I saying to you today, especially for the youth that's in the room, even the young at heart, is to be the best that you could be in everything that you do. So that this will allow you to be competitive both in the local and the global market. No longer is it just about, well, I'll just stay here. It's very important that you understand how important the global market is to our success. So we take these principles and we translate them into organizational and operational life while integrating our business with our faith. One of the things I want to leave with you is our definition of business at the Chamber. Business is the ability to use one's spiritual, one mental, and one physical faculties to understand, identify, and maximize the potential of resources that are in your environment. And you do this by increasing the value of the resources while serving the human market. It is about serving God's children. I'll say that again. It's about serving God's children. How can I be good at serving God's children? How could I understand that the very ideas that for the business that I need to start is right in front of me?
Latino Motion with Bert Lopez is presented by Latino Motion Public Affairs Media, a New Jersey nonprofit corporation. Join us online at www.latinomotion.tv. Find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We encourage your comments and contributions for show topics.
Welcome back to Latino Motion. We're going to continue our coverage of the symposium held at this year's Hispanic Leadership Summit. Let's continue to watch.
So business has to do with your own capabilities, utilizing those assets that you were born with, and then interpret those resources properly to those that surround you, and transforming those into a service to humanity. So then I want to leave with you also leadership. This is our definition of leadership in the Chamber. Leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration, motivated by a passion, generated by a vision, produced by a conviction, and ignited by a purpose. That's really what leadership is. And we're leaders in this room. All of us are leaders. And I want you to know one thing here, that I don't want you to focus on what you can't do, but rather, what is it that I'm so good at that if money was not an issue, I would be doing it? Because when you have found that, you've truly found your gift. And one thing about your gift, it makes room for you. It is the gift that will continue to expand you. It is the gift that will cause you to meet the needs of the other people. And as a result of serving God's children, as a result of serving humanity, now you're in a position now to receive everything that God has for you. So the focus should not be just on money. The focus should be on serving. I'll say that again. The focus should not be on money. The focus should be on serving. And when we all start focus on serving, being the best that we could be, then we're able to influence our community. So I encourage you to learn more about the Kingdom Chamber of Commerce. We're kingdomchamberofcommerce.org. And we
Just begin, and I know you ended your speech about leadership. Very first question I want to ask is, what is faith leadership? And I think you gave a pretty good definition. Let's turn it over to Reverend Cortez. And
Faith leadership is understanding that we all have a vocation, a role to play in society, and that you play that role, understanding that that role is, you are led in that by God. And so no matter what you decide to focus on in your life, God can and will use you if you prepare for that. And so I want to point out two people that from the Bible that most of you have heard. But most people don't realize that in the Old Testament you got Moses, in the New Testament you got Paul. In both cases they were highly educated people. And God was able to use them to change the world. Now, God can use anybody, but if you prepare, you give God more opportunities to use you. And so leadership is preparing for the opportunities that will come before you, that you will not understand when you start preparing in life. You don't understand the opportunities that will come. And some opportunities will go right by you because you didn't prepare.
I would just go back by just making sure that we understand that each and every one of us have an assignment. You are not here by accident. I don't care what anybody has said to you. You are here to complete an assignment. There is a project with your name on it that no one can fulfill, can complete that assignment that has been given to you. There will be copycats, but it's important that you don't become a copycat because you need to remember that you're an original. So it's when you understand that and when you come in alignment with that purpose for you and you prepare. Preparation is important, especially for us as minorities. You have to prepare. You have to have your education. Your education becomes that key that will unlock doors for you. When preparation meets opportunity, the rest becomes history.
often as Latinos, maintaining our faith and being able to get involved politically, and just how do we approach that? How do we get engaged and be able to organize and mobilize people? First, we'll turn it over to Reverend Cortez and give us some tidbits on how we could, particularly around important issues to Latinos. We know politics is certainly one of them, and certainly justice, social justice, are some of the very issues that are very important to us.
No matter who you are, the issues of justice, because in our country, we only have two political options, right? Republican or Democrat. And rather than speak to those two parties, I want to ask all of you as Latinos to think brown. Republicans and Democrats are called blue and red parties. Be brown, don't be red, don't be blue. And by brown I mean is both parties have a tendency to take us for granted in different ways. One takes us for granted because most of us are of that group. Another group just uses us and bashes us as a way to organize their group. In both cases, brown is not first. Our responsibilities, and I want to explain something to you, our responsibilities are not to a political party. Voting is supposed to be your self-interest, not your party's self-interest.
You know, just listening to those stories and listening to your experiences and you know, those powerful statements, my God. Within 2 or 3 weeks, check our website, the Hispanic LeadershipNJ.com. And then, you know, just sort of like remind us, like, you know what? I loved what Angela, I loved what Reverend Luis had to say about me, you know, in the 21st century. I would take that seriously, particularly about the color brown. And so we want to grow. And in this state, we definitely want to grow because we expect a lot from you, and particularly not only the scholarship recipients, but college students. And I see we have a lot of high school students as well. Don't be followers. Don't be followers. You got some great people, great speakers, and I hope that, just listening to them, in the back of your head, it's like, oh my God, I am so inspired. I want to make a huge difference, not only in my household, or in my neighborhood, or in my church, but also in my school, or institutions, or nonprofits, or business. So I just want to say thank you to the two of you.
Hope you enjoyed coverage of the symposium, and thank you for joining us once again here on Latino Motion. And special thanks to the Hispanic Leadership Summit, as well as Rowan University and Dr. Joe Cordona. Thank you once again here on Latino Motion.
Choose quality, value, distinction. Choose Stockton.
Funding for Latino Motion is provided by Atlanticare, healthcare you can believe in. Atlantic City Electric, energy for a changing world. And South Jersey Gas.